Honda's CRF250F is a turd, and in this video, I'm going to explain why that's actually not a bad thing. If you like this type of video, be sure to like and subscribe, and drop a comment letting me know your opinion on the CRF250F. So, I received a comment recently on one of my videos about the CRF250F. It was the video I posted basically talking about the topic of if the CRF250F is right for you based on your size, your height. And the commenter said, "I have one and it's a turd. No power at all. They're cheap for a reason." Now, we'll get into what I replied to that commenter, but first I have to actually explain why this commenter is correct. The CRF250F actually is a turd. They're right. So, the reason they're actually correct is the CRF250F is an air-cooled trail bike. I explained this distinction in a video titled "You've Got It All Wrong." I'll link that video here up at the top right corner, and it'll be in the description below as well. I go over this topic in greater detail about the category of bike that the CRF250F is in, but in simple terms, the CRF250F is air-cooled, where other bikes, for instance, competition four-strokes like the CRF250R, although it has a very similar name, the distinction between those two is that the R model is actually a liquid-cooled competition bike. Basically, the air-cooled bikes are going to deliver power much more gradually and also much slower, more akin to like a tractor, very slow and consistent, to where a liquid-cooled bike or a competition liquid-cooled bike is going to deliver power much more aggressively and punchy. So you could have a 250cc motorcycle with the same size engine, but if it's a air-cooled trail bike versus if it's a liquid-cooled race bike, they'll have the same engine size but completely different power characteristics. So some would describe the CRF250F, being the air-cooled trail bike, as a turd. What do they mean by turd? Well, they mean it's underpowered, it feels slow, it feels sluggish. Maybe the power isn't very punchy, it just kind of rolls on nice and gently. And, maybe they're looking for something that's more snappy, more responsive. But that's not what the CRF250F is. It's just the truth. In my opinion, that's actually a good thing. And that kind of leads us into my response, what I responded to this commenter. I said, they're not really designed to be powerful. They're meant for beginners and people who just want to putt around. And that's really what it comes down to. The Honda CRF250F is for beginner adults, younger people as well. They don't have to be adults, but it's for beginners who are just learning. It's good as a pit bike, a little bigger than traditional pit bikes, but it's still good as a pit bike, and like a mess around bike for people like me. I ride the YZ125, I ride the 250 four-strokes, I've ridden 450 motocross bikes, I've ridden some trail bikes here and there. I'm an experienced rider on the track and in the woods a little bit as well. I'm comfortable on those more competition-focused bikes, but sometimes I don't want to haul around this extremely snappy, fast race bike. Sometimes I just want to mess around on the trail and ride something a little more kind of maybe slower or sluggish. It's also a lot easier to go slower on the 250F versus those snappy race bikes. Those race bikes, they don't want to go slow, so you can't really just putt around on them. They want to be in the RPM range where they're really ripping the whole time. They don't want to be ridden like it's nice and slow. So even for people like me who are more experienced, the CRF250F, while yes, you could consider it a turd, kind of like the right tool for the job thing. I don't want something super powerful sometimes. Also, this is something I completely disregarded in my earlier videos about the CRF250F, but I've actually been getting a lot more comments about this, and it's awesome to hear the feedback from you guys. I've been hearing a lot of older riders that have commented a lot about how, maybe they've been riding for many, many years and they want to get back into the hobby, so they ended up choosing the CRF250F as a good way to get back into it, because a lot of older riders, just like me sometimes, I don't want a bike that's super snappy. Neither do they. They just want something that they can putt around, go enjoy themselves out in nature, out on the trails, out on the track, and, just putt around. Nothing that's going to feel like that's going to rip out of their hands, just something super casual. And that's really cool to hear that older riders have sort of wanted that bike as well. Yes, the CRF250F, it is a turd. So are pretty much every other beginner trail bike. And that's the point. If you're looking for something that's super powerful that you can shred through the woods and be competitive and do hard enduro and race hare scrambles and race motocross, hit big jumps, all that stuff, like, go get a different bike. The CRF250F is not that bike, and it never will be. It's designed for something completely different. Thank you guys for leaving comments. I really appreciate it. It does help figuring out what you guys actually want to learn about and sort of what misconceptions you may have or questions you may have about these bikes. I really enjoy helping you guys in your dirt bike riding journey, especially those of you who are looking into getting your first bike. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. I'd be happy to help. Definitely like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And comment if I missed anything about this topic. As for now, that is all. I'll see you guys in the next one. Soup out.